The story begins inside a secret lab where two scientists, Tucker and Merkel, are working on an extremely dangerous experiment. Both of them are trying to create a powerful serum using tomatoes, one that can make a human completely invincible, meaning no one could ever harm them. After a lot of hard work, when the serum is finally ready, they decide to test it. But the moment they throw the tomato against the wall, it gets completely crushed. Seeing this, both of them feel disappointed. Even then, they refuse to give up and swear that they won't stop until the serum becomes successful. On the other side, the next morning, in a small pizza shop, a boy named Matt is working. But due to a small mistake, a freshly made pizza falls on the ground and gets ruined. Seeing this, his mother, Mrs. Burns, gets very angry because Matt has made mistakes before, too, and now the losses are increasing. Matt apologizes to his mother and says that he really needs money, so she shouldn't cut it from his salary. His mother agrees, but on one condition. Now Matt has to stand outside wearing a pizza man costume and attract customers, just like his father used to do. Helpless, Matt wears the costume and stands outside. Just then, a rich and arrogant boy named Todd arrives there with his girlfriend Susan and starts making fun of Matt. Susan is the same girl who Matt secretly likes, but he has never been able to confess his feelings. This humiliation deeply hurts Matt, and he starts thinking that he will quit this job. But his mother explains to him that his father used to do this work with pride, and this is their own shop. There is nothing to be ashamed of. This touches Matt's heart, and he continues working the entire day wearing the costume. Meanwhile, in the lab, when both scientists return, they notice something shocking. The crushed tomato has somehow repaired itself. At first, they can't believe it, but when they test it again, the tomato keeps restoring itself again and again. Now they realize that their serum has finally worked. They have created a formula that can make anything immortal, and now the next step is to test it on humans. Meanwhile, Matt quickly rushes to college after finishing his work at the pizza shop. But due to working non-stop, he is so exhausted that he keeps dozing off again and again during the chemistry class Professor Tucker is teaching. Matt's mind is somewhere else. After the class ends, Professor Tucker wakes him up and explains that if he wants to achieve something in life, focus is very important. He says that Matt has the intelligence, he just needs to use it in the right way. But Matt underestimates himself. He feels like his entire life will be spent just making pizzas. Just then, Professor Tucker gives him an opportunity. He tells him to bring a pizza to the lab because he wants to show him his new discovery. Hearing this, Matt instantly agrees. After college ends, Matt returns to the pizza shop and heads out for deliveries across the city. On the other side, in the Edge lab, the company's owner, Mr. Criswell, asks both scientists for the result of their experiment. Then, Professor Tucker hands him a tomato and tells him to crush it completely. As soon as Criswell crushes the tomato, it gets completely destroyed, but within seconds, it restores itself back to normal. Seeing this, Criswell is left shocked. Now, the scientists reveal that their serum has finally worked. This serum can restore anything back to its original form after being destroyed. Professor Tucker believes that this discovery can save human lives and even cure many serious diseases. But Mr. Criswell has a completely different plan. He wants to sell this serum to the army so that soldiers never lose and can never be harmed. Hearing this, both scientists get angry because they created this serum to help people, not to turn it into a dangerous weapon. At that moment, Professor Tucker silently makes a big decision that he will not let his boss's wrong plan succeed at any cost. On the other side, Matt continues making his deliveries across the city until only his last delivery is left, which is at Professor Tucker's lab. Poor Matt has no idea that danger is extremely close to him at that very moment. In reality, Mr. Criswell has sent his private guard, John, along with a team of snipers so they can steal the serum at any cost. As soon as Matt delivers the pizza in the lab, suddenly some armed goons surround them and start demanding the serum and the immortal tomato. Professor Tucker clearly refuses, but then a major twist happens. Merkel hands everything over to the goons and reveals that he was already working with Criswell. The goons and Merkel leave from there, but on the way, when they drop the tomato, it doesn't repair itself. That's when Merkel realizes that Tucker has switched the real tomatoes. Meanwhile, Professor Tucker hides the real tomato and the serum syringe and starts escaping with Matt. But on the way, the goons catch them and begin firing bullets. In this attack, the professor gets shot and Matt is also injured. Even then, somehow both of them manage to reach the rooftop. Here, Professor Tucker injects Matt with a special syringe, causing his wounds to heal instantly. After that, he gives him the tomato and says, "Eat this. It will give you power, but always use it for good." After this, the professor himself stands to face the goons. He refuses to hand over the tomato and throws a chemical, causing a massive explosion. But in this fight, he loses his life, and Matt watches him die right in front of him. Filled with anger and pain, Matt finally eats the tomato. Just then, John tries to stop him, but Matt falls off the roof. Surprisingly, he stands up without any injury, as if nothing happened to him. Now Matt quickly gets into his car and escapes from there. But on the way, he starts feeling strange, as if his body is changing. He stops the car, and by coincidence, coincidence, he is near Susan's house. Seeing him, Susan takes him inside, but just then, Todd arrives and gets furious after seeing Matt. He forcefully tries to throw him out and, in anger, punches him. But this time, something is different. Nothing happens to Matt. Instead, Todd's own hand gets hurt badly. Then Todd's friends also attack Matt, but now a new power has awakened inside him. He easily defeats all of them. He even throws one of them straight onto a ping pong table. After this, Matt somehow manages to escape from there and reaches his home, but the effect of the tomato has now begun. The moment he sits on the couch, he faints. The next morning, when Matt is having breakfast with his mother, only one question keeps running in his mind. Did that tomato really give me powers? To find out, he starts testing it on himself. First, he touches burning fire with his hand, but he doesn't feel even the slightest pain. Then, to check his strength, he tries lifting a car with his bare hands, and surprisingly, he lifts it very easily. Now, Matt becomes sure that Professor Tucker was telling the truth. He truly has gained superpowers. After this, Matt reaches the pizza shop, where on the TV he sees the news of his professor's death. Seeing this, he is completely shattered from inside. But things get even worse, because just then, John and his men arrive at the pizza shop and start questioning his mother about Matt. Mrs. Burns realizes that these men are not police, so she clearly refuses and says that no one will enter without a warrant. But John forcefully tries to send his men inside. Suddenly, Mrs. Burns grabs her baseball bat and attacks one of the men. Seeing this, the other goons angrily point their guns and start threatening her to quickly tell where Matt is. Matt, hiding in the kitchen, watches all this, and to save his mother, he makes a big decision. He wears his father's old pizza man costume. A few seconds later, when the goons are creating chaos in the kitchen, suddenly one man is thrown into the air and crashes down. Everyone turns back, and standing in front of them is Matt in the pizza man costume. Declaring himself a superhero, Matt says, "I am Powerman." Hearing this, John and his men start laughing and mock him, saying that he is not a superhero, just a pizza man. But this time, Matt doesn't stay quiet. He uses his new powers and attacks all of them. And when one of the goons fires a bullet at him, the bullet doesn't cause even the slightest damage to his suit. Now, everyone realizes that Matt is no longer an ordinary human. Matt easily defeats all the goons and finally captures John. John tells him to come to the lab, but Matt is still filled with anger over Professor Tucker's death. In rage, he pushes John hard, and John slips, his leg going straight into a hot oven, burning half of his face badly. Screaming in pain, John calls his men and quickly escapes to get treatment. After the fight ends, Matt takes his mother to the hospital. After some time, when Mrs. Burns regains consciousness, she asks what exactly happened. Matt then tells her the entire truth. Hearing all this, his mother decides that until everything is back to normal, the pizza shop will remain closed. Then she shares a strange dream with him. She says that while unconscious, she saw Matt's father dressed in the pizza man costume saving people. Hearing this, something changes inside Matt. Now he will become a hero in that same costume and use his powers only to help people. On the other side, in the hospital, John's face is covered in bandages. The doctor tells him that to fix his face, they will need to use skin from another part of his body. When John looks at his burnt face in the mirror, he is filled with rage and swears that he will take revenge on that pizza man. Meanwhile, unaware of all this, Matt goes to shut down the pizza shop. Just then, Detective Moser arrives there and tells him to come to the police station. At the station, Matt is shown CCTV footage where his mother is being attacked, and a masked hero is seen defeating the goons. The detective suspects that this hero is Matt, but Matt cleverly acts innocent and says that he isn't that strong. The detective isn't fully convinced, but for now, he lets him go and says that he will find the real pizza man. After this, Matt attends Professor Tucker's funeral. There he meets Susan again. Matt apologizes to her for the incident at the party, but Susan says that it wasn't his fault. He was just defending himself. Not only that, Susan tells him that she has broken up with Todd. Hearing this, a slight smile appears on Matt's face, and the two sit together for a while talking. On the other side, the atmosphere inside the company has completely changed. Mr. Criswell and Professor Merkel are still trying to figure out a way to get the serum back when suddenly John arrives there with his burnt face. John is now completely transformed. In anger, he declares that he will take the pizza man's powers for himself. Not only that, he even announces himself as the new boss of the company. When Criswell tries to stop him, John shoots him without hesitation, ending him right there. Now John has become the new villain, Big Cheese. Sitting on the chair, Big Cheese gives his first order. He tells Professor Merkel to find a way to extract the serum from Pizza Man's body at any cost. Through his research, Merkel reveals a big secret. He says that Pizza Man has one weakness, a special smoke made from tobacco leaves, which can cancel his powers. Hearing this, Big Cheese gets excited and immediately orders his men to turn that smoke into a weapon. Within no time, everything is prepared, and Big Cheese, along with his goons, heads straight to the college where Matt studies. At that very moment, Matt is sitting in class, but suddenly he starts feeling strange. He quickly heads towards the bathroom. Meanwhile, the goons enter the college and start threatening professors and students while asking about Matt. Susan secretly sends a message to Matt, warning him that danger is after him. Matt instantly understands and goes into the bathroom to wear the pizza man costume. Now he is ready to save his friends and Susan. But just then, Big Cheese finds Matt's notebook, which contains his feelings for Susan. Seeing this, he realizes that Susan is his weakness, and he kidnaps her. As the goons try to leave with Susan, Pizza Man appears in front of them and tells them to let her go. But this time, Big Cheese acts smart. He orders his men to release cigarette smoke, and as the smoke spreads, Matt's powers begin to fade away. Weak and helpless, he falls to the ground, and Big Cheese orders his men to extract the serum from his body and kill him. But just then, the college bell rings and all the students start coming out. In this chaos, Big Cheese escapes with Susan and leaves his men behind to finish Matt. As soon as the smoke clears, Matt's powers return, and he easily defeats all the goons one by one. But by then, it's too late. Big Cheese has already taken Susan to his hideout. Meanwhile, in the lab, Susan is tied up and left there, while Big Cheese attends a big meeting with his partners, where investors question him about his project. Then Merkel and Big Cheese show them a sample of Matt's blood, which contains the serum. Big Cheese even uses a small amount on himself, and for a moment, his burnt face becomes completely normal. But after a while, the marks return, making it clear that the serum is still not perfect. Even so, the investors are impressed and promise that if the project is completed, they will definitely invest in it. While the meeting is still going on, outside, Matt also reaches the building to save Susan. But getting inside isn't easy. First, he has to outsmart the security guards. For this, Matt comes up with a plan. He pretends to be a pizza delivery boy to get inside. The guard doesn't suspect anything and lets him enter. As soon as Matt reaches the elevator, he quickly puts on his pizza man costume. Now, Matt directly reaches Big Cheese's office and angrily asks him, "Where is Susan?" But Big Cheese remains completely calm and offers him a deal. He says, "If you give me a sample of your blood, I will let Susan go." To save Susan's life, Matt is forced to accept the deal. But this turns out to be his biggest mistake. The moment he gets the chance, Big Cheese lights a cigar and blows the smoke into his face. And that very smoke takes away all of Matt's powers. As soon as he becomes weak, the goons capture him and take him to a secret lab where they strap him onto a stretcher. When Matt regains consciousness, he finds himself completely trapped. Laughing, Big Cheese says that now he will use his blood to create a huge amount of serum and then kill him because he doesn't leave any witnesses alive. Matt makes one last request to spare Susan, but Big Cheese doesn't listen to a single word. Now, Professor Merkel takes samples of Matt's blood and begins preparing to kill him. It starts to feel like this is truly the end of Pizza Man. But suddenly, 3 police officers burst into the lab and order everyone to surrender. A big twist is revealed here. Matt had already called Detective Moser for help earlier, which is why the police arrive at the right moment. After this, an intense gunfight breaks out inside the lab. On one side are the police, and on the other side are Big Cheese's goons. In the middle of this chaos, Detective Moser frees Matt from the stretcher and takes him along in his car to a safe place. After a while, Detective Moser sends his team after the goons. Meanwhile, 2 police officers find Professor Merkel inside the lab. In a hurry, Merkel tries to create the serum from Matt's blood, believing he is about to become immortal. But the moment the police hit him with a taser, he collapses instantly. It becomes clear the formula is still not working, but the real villain, Big Cheese, is still out there, firing bullets at the police from his office. Outside, sitting in the car, Matt and Susan hear everything on the radio. Matt knows that he has to help the police. He punches himself to check if his powers have returned or not, but realizes that the effect of the smoke is still there. Even then, without his powers, Matt refuses to give up. He puts on the Pizza Man costume and runs towards the building. Soon, he reaches the office floor, but Big Cheese shoots at him, and the bullet hits his arm. The police try to help him, but taking advantage of the moment, Big Cheese escapes towards the rooftop. Despite being injured, Matt follows him. Big Cheese jumps from one building to another trying to escape. Matt also leaps after him, but this time he slips and ends up hanging from the edge of the building. Seeing his chance, Big Cheese tries to finish him, but at the right moment, Susan and Detective Moser arrive there. Moser fires a shot, and Big Cheese escapes from there. After this, a high-speed chase begins in the parking area. Big Cheese drives away in a car, and Matt jumps onto it, chasing him. Bullets are fired, brakes screech, and at one point it feels like Matt will be finished, but Detective Moser arrives just in time and saves him. Then Big Cheese kidnaps Susan again and takes her to a pizza factory. Matt follows him there. Inside the factory, Matt sees Susan tied to a machine that is about to cut her apart. He immediately tries to stop the machine, and that's when he feels it. His powers have returned. Using his strength, he breaks the controls of the machine and saves Susan at the very last second. Now, the final battle begins. Matt finds Big Cheese in the warehouse. Big Cheese offers him to join him, saying that together they can make a lot of money. But Matt refuses and says that he will only use his powers for good, and then an intense fight begins between them. In the end, Matt pushes him so hard that Big Cheese falls onto a conveyor belt and slowly slides into a freezing machine, turning into a block of ice. With that, the fight comes to an end. Detective Moser congratulates Matt, and at that moment, Matt reveals his true identity to him. Moser is shocked, but advises him to leave crime fighting to the police. In the end, Matt goes to drop Susan at her house and finally gathers the courage to confess his feelings. This time, Susan smiles back, and with that, our hero finally gets his girl. So, how did you like this movie? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories like this. See you in the next video.